the honor here to have here Laura Smith, the Learning and Design Coordinator, and Martin Wassermann, the Talent Management of the OECD. And so before I give them the floor, I would just like to remind you of the housekeeping rules. So as always, please mute yourself during the whole session and post your comments in the chat box. And the session will be recorded for educational purposes and available starting from Friday on. So please, Laura, Martin, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I'll just wait for Martin to get the presentation up.
Can you see it now?
Yes. Can everyone see that? Yeah. Okay, great. So thank you for having us. I'm Laura, and I'm going to be joined by my colleague Martin today. And we're going to divide the presentation kind of into two sections. So first of all, a little bit about the organization and how we work and who works with us. And then secondly, we're going to talk about the opportunities that are available. So the OECD is an international organization, and it works to shape policies that foster prosperity, equality, opportunity, and well-being for all. And there are 37 member countries currently, so we've just been joined by Colombia, and Costa Rica is in the accession process. So that means that they're going to be joining the organization very soon. There are 70 partner countries, and this includes the largest economies that participate in the OECD's work, so increasing relevance of policy debates. And 80% of world trade and investment is accounted for by member countries and key partners. So together they can collaborate on key global issues. And here on the map, you can see the OECD member countries in blue, and then that other kind of brown color is the partner countries. And there you can kind of see it very small. Costa Rica there is in green. So a bit about the operations and the history of the organization. The organization was born in 1961, so we'll be turning 60 next year. And the roots go back to 1948, the end of the Second World War. So it was originally the Organization for European Economic Cooperation. We are based in Paris, it's where our headquarters are, and we actually have 2 sites that operate in Paris. So if you are working for the OECD one day, you will most likely have to relocate to Paris, which is great. I can testify it's a fantastic city to live in. We also have some other centers around the world, so Berlin, Mexico City, Tokyo, and Washington, DC. But just to reiterate, these are very, very small centers, and the majority of staff are based in Paris. So the budget, the OECD is primarily funded by its member countries, and this takes into account the size of their economies. So the amount that they contribute really is dependent on the size of their economy. If you are working here one day, you will need to be fluent in either English or French. And we do ask that you are committed to learning the other language. And we offer help with this, so we offer French classes and English classes, group online, that kind of thing. Okay, so a bit about the work of the organization, how it works. So the OECD follows a robust process during which it engages with multiple stakeholders. This could be governments, parliaments, other international organizations, business and labor, civil society, academia, and citizens as well. And there's a 4-pillar approach to the work of the OECD. So first of all, data collection and analysis, then discussion and consultation, and standard setting and policy guidance, and finally implementation and support. So this is essentially research, discussion, creating policy, and then supporting countries to implement that policy. And all of our work and research follows a peer review approach. This means that countries and experts look at the impact of our policies and look at areas that they can be improved. Okay, so here you can see a number of policy areas. This is not at all exhaustive. This is just a very small glimpse at the areas that the OECD works on. Many, many more. I think, in fact, that we cover everything apart from defense and sport. So there will be something that everyone has studied and will be interested in. So a little bit of a deeper look into some of the areas, corporate governance. So 48 countries adhere to the OECD guidelines for responsible business conduct. And if you remember, there are 37 member countries, so that's 11 countries in addition. And development. So over 1,000 regions and cities will be able to measure the progress on sustainable development goals using OECD guidance. And education. So 600,000 students were evaluated in 79 countries as part of the OECD's Programme for International Student Assessment, or PISA. And this was in 2018. This program actually runs every 3 years, so the next one would be next year. And some of you maybe even have taken the test when you were in school. So this is where you can find out a little bit more information about the policy areas. You can either look by country or you can look by topic. And so here we've got the example of Austria. You can find all of the organization's work relating to either the topic or the country that you're looking for, which is really useful if you're looking for maybe some research papers or something, or just to find out more about what we do. Okay, so a bit more about who we are. So the people that work at the organization. Number of staff by grade groups is what this graph here can show. So I'm just going to explain a little bit more about the grading system and how that works, so you have a better idea. We have the A grades there, which you can see highlighted, and that's what we call the professional category. So this would be economists, policy analysts, and also senior management. And they make up the majority of people who work for the OECD, and is the kind of category that we'll be focusing on in our presentation today. The second largest population there is the support and technical staff. So this accounts for administrative staff, assistants, IT, technical support. We also have linguists. So as you know, we have 2 official languages. So this could be translators or interpreters that work permanently with the organization. There's unclassified staff as well, and this would be the highest leadership level. So for example, the Secretary General. And then also at the bottom there, you can see in gray, temporary staff and associated personnel. So this accounts for interns and also consultants who work with the organization, among others. And currently, well, this data is from 2018, so we had 3,602 staff at the time. And here is average age of an A grade official by gender. So this would be relating to their current age, not the age when they were hired. And as mentioned before, we have just the A grades here. So an A1 would maybe be a junior policy analyst or a junior economist. And that average age is about 31, 32, going right up to an A6 and A7. And these would be executive leadership, senior policy analysts. And you can see that age is quite significantly higher. And it shows that the higher the grade, the more experience you're expected to have. And here we can see the volume and representation rate of A grade officials. So it shows that all of the member countries are represented within the organization. We have staff from all of our member countries. You can see on the left there that France is the highest represented country, which isn't surprising as we're based in Paris. So we have lots of French staff working with us. Okay, so now I'm going to hand over to Martin, who's going to tell you a little bit about the opportunities that are available at the moment.
Thank you, Laura. So when we talk about opportunities at the OECD, we should start with recruitments and how we recruit at the OECD. When we recruit across different functions. So we have 3 main functions when recruiting new staff. The first one, and also as you see, the biggest one, is the policy analysis and advice. People in these functions or staff in these functions focus on the core work of the OECD. That's a policy work. Then we have another function, another group of functions, which is corporate management. This includes HR, finance, IT, communication functions, and then we have also leadership functions. In 2019, we hired 324 officials, and as you can see, the core work, we hired the most staff for the core work on the policy analysis. We also, as you can see, we hired 635 interns, which is quite high number, and that the high number of interns we hire really shows how important the interns are when they're supporting the work of the OECD. When we are recruiting, we use various channels to attract and to find the best candidates. And as I mentioned, we hire people or candidates across different functions, but also across different levels. So we have various opportunities for more junior people, mid-career level, more senior or leadership level people and applicants. When we are recruiting, we have two main requirements. The first one is OECD nationality. So people applying for jobs at the OECD need to be nationals of the OECD member countries. There are some exceptions. We have limited number of openings on special projects or on projects with key partner countries, when we also hire applicants from non-member countries. But as I said, this is the opportunities are quite limited. And as Laura mentioned, also, if you're applying for a job at the OECD, you should speak either French or English, and have the motivation to reach a good level of the other one. When we are recruiting staff, the regular recruitments are the main channel of finding the best candidates. So during regular recruitments, we advertise vacancy notice for each opening. You can find that on our website. And if you visit our website and you don't find a job which would fit your preferences now or your profile, or you're interested in future openings, you can create an alert, and then you can receive an email notification every time a new vacancy is published which fits your profile. Apart from regular recruitments, we also have corporate recruitment programs, and I would like to mention a few of them. The first one is Young Associates program. This is a quite unique program within international organizations because it focuses on really junior people. So it is designed to attract current undergraduate students or graduates who graduated within less than 18 months from the bachelor degree. And the purpose of this program is to bring young, motivated people to work on policy issues at the OECD for 2 years. And the specificity of this program is that young associates are expected to leave the organization after 2 years and pursue a graduate degree at top-level universities around the world. And then if they want, they can also still come back and apply for regular positions at the OECD. So as I mentioned, the main requirements to be really on the undergraduate level. So if you're already enrolled in a master's degree, you would unfortunately not be eligible for this program. The other requirement for young associates is we expect that young associates would have strong academic background and be able to work in really multicultural environment and team context. We will open the next application round later this year. So if you check our website or social media, let's say around October, November, you'll be able to find the vacancies. Another important program is internship program, which targets really qualified and motivated students to come to the OECD and to work on projects related to strategic orientations of the Secretary General. And with the internship program, we aim that the interns would be able to further develop their technical, analytical skills and ability to work in a multicultural environment. So the internship program targets really full-time students enrolled in bachelor, a master's, or PhD level degrees. The internship program it's a bit different from regular positions. So we are open to both OECD nationals and also non-nationals. And the internships last usually between 1 to 6 months. And also an internship can be extended up to maximum of 12 months. And as I mentioned, the main requirement is, it is important to know that for the internship program, you need to be enrolled in a graduate, undergraduate, or PhD level degree during the whole duration of the internship. We have our internship vacancy advertised during the whole year, and we recruit on a rolling basis. So if you're interested, you can visit our website and submit your application. Just please note that because of the current situation, we postpone recruiting new interns, and we only do remote work. But we are planning to fully resume recruiting new interns later this year, and we will publish latest updates on our website and our social media. We often receive a question what interns do at the OECD and what a day of an intern looks like. So depending on the functions and the director where they are assigned, the interns usually work on research and analysis of policies. They analyze, gather, and evaluate statistical data. They use various statistical tools. And then also based on the analysis, they help and participate in drafting and writing reports and documents. In some other functions, interns also focus on outreach and communication activities. They organize and coordinate events and conferences. But for all interns, it is interesting that interns can also participate and attend various conferences and various meetings, including internal trainings, and also they can participate in an intern circle, which is a kind of intern association at the OECD. And the last program I would like to mention is a Young Professionals program. This program is really targeting young professionals with some professional experience who would come to the OECD and work on really substantial policy matters as young economists or young policy analysts for 2 years. And of course, after the 2 years, they can apply for regular positions at the OECD. We are currently reviewing the program, and we plan to publish more information about when we will start a next selection round later this year. So here you can see a table and a good overview where you would fit based on your career stage, your education, and your experience. So you will have the presentation available afterwards, so you can review that in more detail. And we will move on to the recruitment process. So every time you want to apply for a regular position at the OECD, you need to go through a certain recruitment process. The process starts with an application. So you need to go to our website, create a profile, submit your CV and your motivation letter. After the deadline, our colleagues create a shortlist, review the candidates, review the applicants, and create a shortlist. And then the shortlisted candidates are invited to a pre-screening video interview. This is done on a platform where you can answer and record your answers. Basically, answer questions and record your answers. The next step usually is a written test. In written test, we test technical knowledge, also drafting and writing skills, as well as language skills. And then usually the last assessment round is a panel interview, which is usually a video interview. And in interviews, we usually focus on motivation, soft skills, and competencies. Once the selection is over and then the decision is made, the selected candidate receives an offer, and then they take up duty at the OECD. The whole recruitment process usually takes between 4 and 6 months. When you're working at the OECD as a staff, we offer our staff a lot of opportunities for career development. So we offer internal trainings, classroom trainings, or also mobile online learning, including, as Laura mentioned, language courses. We have also a language app, which our staff uses. And we also offer flexible working arrangements, which includes flexi time or teleworking arrangements, which we currently use when we all work remotely. We also have various associations at the OECD, such as Women's Network, Intern Circle, which I mentioned, or Globe. And staff can participate, and also interns can participate in these associations, which organize all sorts of cultural, social, language, or sports events. So it's a good opportunity for really networking and socializing with other people working at the OECD. So I think this would sum up our presentation about the OECD. And if you're interested in discovering more and learning more about what we do and what opportunities we can offer, you can visit our website, our career site, or also you can follow us on our social media. And we are on all major social media platforms.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. I think that was very clear, and I was actually step by step crossing out all the questions that were piling up because you were giving so much important information. I would maybe just come back to the young professionals program, because there were quite some questions regarding that one. Is there an age limit for this one? Is it open to non-OECD member state countries? And what is the minimum professional experience to be eligible for that one? Is PhD required?
I would probably answer this question. So there is no age limit when it comes to young professionals program. And also when it comes to experience, we are currently reviewing the program, so we are still trying to determine whether and how much years of experience we will require from future young professionals. So this will be published, this will be available later on when we have the results of the review. And the PhD degree is not required for this program. And when it comes to the nationality, the young professionals program is basically open to OECD nationals, as young professionals will be working at the OECD as a regular staff for 2 years.
I see. And still in regards to this, do these participants have any advantage for a later stage? So access to like a specific internal process for hiring, recruitment, and so on?
I would say there is no formal advantage of being a young professional at the OECD to be able to get other job and get other position at the OECD, but just the fact that young professionals work at the OECD, they already know the substance, they already know the work, they have the knowledge, and they also have a really good network after 2 years at the OECD. That's already really a competitive advantage compared to external applicants. So I think that really is an advantage to apply for young professionals program, and then it's really easier for young professionals to continue in their career in the organization.
Okay, great. Then I would have one more question regarding translators. There was a question asking for how many in-house translators does OECD have? And do they need any kind of specialization? What kind of level of experience do they need to have to enter?
Yeah, we have limited number of official translators at the moment, and then it really depends on the position which will be advertised. So it really depends on what kind of level and what kind of experience linguist we are looking for. So I think it would really depend on a case-to-case basis. But I think for the really language staff, some sort of professional language training and interpreting and translating training would be required.
I think regarding the numbers, if you think back to the slide that we showed showing the different professional categories, you could see in there that it was a very, very small percentage of the overall staff of the organization. So we can share the presentation with you after and you can have another look at that.
Okay, Great. We will definitely share it with the trainees after that. Good. It's 59. I would maybe ask one more question, one last one, even though it was partly already answered, but maybe you would like to add something to that. Trainees asked if economics or related degree to economics was needed in general, or like how much space do you have for people specialized only in political analysis and politics? And if you look more after generalist profiles or specialized profiles in specific fields. Or natural sciences now, I see popping up in the chat.
I think it depends on the area that you'd like to work in. For example, we have certain directorates that work on nuclear energy, and then you would require to be specialized in that. Generally, we look for profiles that have economics, statistics, or political science of some sort, but that can really depend on the job that the person is applying to, because at DC we have so many different policy areas. If someone is very specialized in something maybe to do with health, or just to give an example, then the profiles are very varied depending on the job that they're applying for. Yeah,
maybe if I could just add, so for policy related work, I think economics would be a plus to have an economics degree or background. But as I mentioned before, we have also corporate management functions. And that doesn't only include the functions which I mentioned, but candidates with political science degrees and background like that could also work. We also function in external relations, communications. So I think we also have opportunities we can offer for people with a really diverse background.
Okay, great. I think that answers all. So great, thank you very much for taking your time to present all this to our trainees. As I said before, the video will be shared starting from Friday. So if someone missed it, they will still have the opportunity to rewatch it. And if you agree, we will share your contact details with them and the presentation so that they have access to all information and possibly ask further questions if they can still think about anything. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Have a nice afternoon.
You too.
Thank you.